Today we are going to customize some gifts by drawing on a purse, an apron, and a jewelry box. This video is going to be packed with fun, so get ready for it. Welcome back to my channel, it's Paula, and today I'm going to be using these acrylic markers by Ohuhu to customize these items. If they look familiar, it's because I used them in a sketchbook spread video about 4 weeks ago. I love them so much, I wanted to use them again, and I actually asked Ohuhu if they would sponsor this video, and they did. So thank you, Ohuhu, for sponsoring this video because I really enjoyed the markers. Okay, we are going to start with the apron, and as soon as I put it down on my desk, it became a bed. Yeah, she saw the fabric and just laid on it. And she doesn't even care, she's in the way, she's the queen of this house. While she rested, I did go to Pinterest for inspiration. I wanted to do something cute, but I didn't know what. So I thought I would look at color palettes with the caramel color of the apron to see if the colors that look well together inspired me. I like the color palettes that included pinks the most, and that inspired me to draw a cute pig. I wanted to sketch it before to get clearer on what I was doing, so I slid my pop out of the way and got to drawing. Yeah, that looked okay and cute. A little piggy with a big bow like Marie from the Aristocrats. Sketch ready, and now I needed the apron, but she wasn't moving at all. So I brought her a blankie to see if she would trade, and yeah, that worked. Of course, it looks cozier, but please note her nice bed in the background. It's just that most of the time she prefers to be on the desk. Back to the apron, and I slightly sketched my drawing onto it with a pencil. Then I started outlining it with a marker, and I noticed that I didn't have the same proportions as in my sketch. This happens way too often to me, that I like the original sketch better than the drawing. Is it only me? Oh well, I fixed it a bit and started coloring. I wasn't loving the color, so I tried a lighter one, and that one wasn't quite right either. But I like how the two layered, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna fill the entire space with the darker pink and then just layer the other one on top for that perfect color. I drew the hooves on top of the pocket, I painted the ears, and then a huge bow. And it was finally time to go on top of everything with the lighter pink. I discovered that just like with alcohol markers, the best way to do it so you get an even result is to paint in little circles. But that day I didn't have the patience for it because my wrist was hurting from painting something else. So I just decided I would do more layers to get an even result. I helped everything dry with the heat gun because this may look dry and feel dryish, but these are super juicy markers, so it's better to make sure it's super dry before layering other colors. And believe me, once it's really dry, you will feel the difference. I did the second layer, and this is where I realized I could smudge it a bit with my fingers to even it out and not have the stripes from the fabric be so noticeable. So that was done, but I did a little extra layering and finger blending to give some rosy cheeks to the drawing. After the cheeks were on, I started to add details to the bow as well by making some parts of it darker, so it would read more as folded ribbon. Gotta love how you can blend and layer colors so easily with the acrylic markers. And the brush nib allows you to be as precise as you need to. Then I started to draw the rest of the face, starting with the eyes, the nostrils, and then half of the hooves brown, because this helped everything look more even in the area of the pocket where we had two materials. Once it was all dry, I was going to do highlights, but the top seemed a little bit empty, and the design seemed not to be high enough on the apron. So to remedy this, I drew a cherry on top of her head and some chocolate dripping underneath. Yeah, this is a dessert making apron. For the chocolate, I started by painting it black first because I wanted to layer the brown I used on the rest of the drawing to get a richer, darker shade, more fitting of chocolate. I colored the cherry and started to add some highlights with the white marker. I should have dried everything before adding white because you can see the eyes weren't quite dry and the paint mixed a bit, but that's okay because I'll let it dry better and then I go on top of it. I added more shades of brown to the chocolate as I highlighted it, and it was done. And just for you to know, when I moved the apron from my desk, some paint had bled through. In my case, I can just wipe it clean, but protect your surfaces underneath if you're working on thin materials like fabric, because again, these are some juicy markers. And on the off chance you missed my face on the intro, here I am awkwardly modeling the apron so you can see the finished result. Let's just move on. Next, I wanted to do the purse. And the story for this one is that I went to that store I like that I showed you on a previous video to see if they had any Halloween decorations. And well, this footage answers that question. They had nothing. It's Christmas already there. So I still decided to look around to see what I could find. And I was wandering around the clothing section when I saw this dupe. I laughed at first, but then I thought, this would be nice to paint on. So here we are. The first thing I did was pull out the markers I wanted to use, and this way I chose a color palette. Then what you do to paint on leather or pleather is take some acetone and wipe it, because usually items like this have this varnish that acrylic paint doesn't go well on top of. For the next step, you can go directly in with your acrylics, but if you're not sure of your design, a good tip is that you can use a white gel pen to sketch on your item, because whatever you don't like, you can easily swipe with a damp paper towel. I honestly did not have a plan for what I wanted to do on the purse. I just knew I wanted to make it happy and colorful and to have things I like on it. So I just went ahead and drew some large shapes first, a star, a heart, and a irregular shape similar to a rectangle. I then added smaller random elements, a bird, cherries, and there, see, I did not like how that extra star came out, so I just wiped it clean. Then I started to fill everything I drew with the paint markers, and because my markers weren't easily sliding like they normally do, it was here that I realized I made a big mistake. When you wipe your purse or whatever with acetone, then you have to clean the leftover acetone off with a damp cloth or wet wipe, and I forgot this step, so it was affecting the marker's ink. I tried, not very successfully, to not wipe all of my sketching off, but that was okay. The lines I had were enough to carry on, and you can easily see the difference with the purple, how the ink of the marker now works normally. Well, I continued filling out every single drawing I made, and then I knew this was going to need a second layer of paint, so while those first drawings dried, I added a beetle to the back. I really enjoyed drawing these bugs on a past sketchbook video, so I thought it would be a nice touch. Then back to the front, as that dried so I could add details, a little heart next to the bird along with its eye and beak. Then the offset outlines I love doing, and underneath the flap I chose to add a little message, which I'm sorry I won't show to you in this video because I want it to be a surprise for whoever gets this purse, which could actually be you. See, I decided I'm going to give this customized purse to one of my subscribers. Now, in the past, when I've done giveaways, it's been hard to contact the winner and I've had to draw a new one again and again. So this time I'm going to do it differently and send it to someone who's made a purchase on my shop from today until the date on the screen. This way, I will already have the winner's address. I will be sending it as a token of my gratitude for supporting my artistic journey, and I can ship it as a surprise. Yay! I've been trying to anticipate what questions this giveaway might get, and for now, all I can answer is that yes, any purchase, even of one sticker, will participate in this giveaway, and I could not think of any more questions you may have, so if you have them, please pop them in the comment section. As I've been talking, I've been adding more doodles on top, just giving the illustration a little bit more character. Then back to the back, and I added a heart as a background to the beetle, fixed some details on it, and I signed this purse because I've noticed I forget to sign most of the things I make that are not paintings on canvas. But because this is going to be a gift, I made sure it has my signature on it. Now here is the most important step for the purse and for you if you're painting on leather. It's using this acrylic finisher on top of your work. This is what you need to keep it from fading and scratching. I'm going to pour some in a clean palette if I can get it open. Hold on.
One eternity later.
There. So clean palette and a clean brush because this will pick up any pigment that it's not dry. This is also why the purse needed to be completely dried first, and it was. Then I just generously applied the varnish just on the areas I painted, and make sure you don't get big drops off it because it will dry that way as a droplet and not be flat to the touch or transparent. And that is it. This is how I customized this purse. I hope you like it. And here I am again, awkwardly modeling it. I shared it on my Instagram stories and I got so many replies of people loving it. So yeah, I hope whoever gets it loves it too. Moving on, we're now working on this tiny jewelry box, and this is the first of these that I found that has this little pouch inside, and I love that. I bought a few and none had these before. I first thought this was gonna be just plastic, so I went writing with my marker, but you can see the paint doesn't really go on, it slides. So yeah, this also has that protective coating for fake leather. So again, I had to first swipe it all with acetone and then clean the acetone with a damp cloth or wet wipe to get any residue that would affect the paint off. I think I used a little bit too much acetone because I removed a little bit of the black too, but that's okay. We'll cover most of it and it won't show. I had no plan for this one other than to write "You are magic" on top, so I started drawing stars to match that quote. Then I drew a heart because you know how much I love them, and I added details to the heart and more stars with yellow. I also wrote my quote to see how I was doing with space, and this is my first layer, which I let dry and went over a second time to make it more opaque. I helped that second layer dry with the heat gun and started to go in with details. As you can see, I painted over the words, but that was because I knew I would polish the letters at the very end. Grew an eye in the middle of the heart, and I just kept adding and adding stuff because, like I said, I didn't really have a plan. I just followed my creative joy with doodling. The letters weren't showing that much, so I added a drop shadow with a dark gray, and while I was doing that, I messed up the bottom corner, but because it wasn't fully dried, I was able to wipe the smudge off with a wet Q-tip. I then went back to polish everything and I tried an extra layer of paint on the letters to bring them forward, but that didn't work either, so I helped them dry and finally just used the same light purple I had on the stars for them. Finally, same varnish to protect everything, but this time instead of going just over the drawn elements, I went over the entire square surface to get an even look. And that is it. That's the end result. And again, here are the Ohuhu acrylic markers that I used today. I really love them so much. So thank you, Ohuhu, again. And here's the other two things we made today. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what else you think I could customize. Can't wait to hear what your ideas are and can't wait to see where this purse ends up. Like always, thank you so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate your support and I hope that I'll see you next week with a brand new video. Have the most wonderful day. Bye!